Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Good evening. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council, established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designates the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We're using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record. And I request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be still utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Mignone?
Here.
Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Grace Love? Here. Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mrs. Walters? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Parlamere?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here.
Chief Harkins? Mr. McGill?
Here. This evening, we have a special presentation. The Gloucester Township Scholarship Day Committee will be joining us. Dr. Hollingshead.
Thank you, Mr. Mercado. Before I start, did everybody who is interested in scholarships get one of these pieces of paper that has 350 numbers and names on it? If you didn't, put your hand up and we'll come around and give you one. Assuming that you found your name on there, this is the time when you want to start thinking about that. Get that number right in the front of your brain. Keep thinking about it, and maybe that'll help. I have no idea whether anything I just said is true, but we'll give it a shot. My name is Dick Hollingshead, and I'm the Assistant Treasurer for the Gloucester Township Day Scholarship Committee. Among other things, in addition to being here tonight, we sponsor a lot of activities. The next really big thing that we've got coming up is Gloucester Township Day. That's a very important event for us because it's where we make a lot of our money so that we can continue to do scholarships. But right before that, we've got another event coming up on Saturday, this Saturday. I'm looking around, I don't know if I see too many runners there, but we have a sanctioned 5K run that starts right here. And if for some reason you want to do that, but you haven't signed up yet, our website is in the upper left-hand corner of that sheet. You can go there and sign up for it and be a part of that. Many of the activities that we do throughout the year are designed specifically to involve a lot of people in the community, but also to raise money. And to be honest with you, that's why we're here tonight. Every dollar that we raise goes right back to the community in the form of these scholarships. A couple new people just came in, I think, that might need a piece of paper. So it's very important for us to have people attend the various events that we do. Looking around, I don't know if I see anybody that I saw at the murder mystery that we had a couple months ago. But again, we do a variety of things. The idea being to try to involve lots and lots of people to make lots and lots of money so that we can give lots and lots of scholarships. That's a lot of lots. Before I go any further, I want to introduce the members of the scholarship committee who are here tonight. After I read all their names, would you all please stand? You're all right here in the front. Harry Morgan is our chairperson. Chris Disick is our treasurer. Danielle Barford, Debbie Carr, Mackenzie Carr, Bill Fagan, Orlando Mercado up there, Chris Rohrer, Michelle Traeger, and Louise Teichik. Would all of you please stand for a moment and to be recognized? Thank you. This is the group of people who throughout the year work to raise the money that we're able to give out tonight. What we do is we send out applications to any school in Gloucester Township, or excuse me, any high school where Gloucester Township students might be attending. Obviously, most of the Gloucester Township students go either to Highland, Timber Creek, or Triton, but we also this year received applications from 9 other schools in the area, including Bishop Eustace, Camden County Technical School, Gloucester County Institute of Technology, Gloucester Catholic, Our Lady of Mercy Academy, Paul VI, St. Augustine, and Sterling. We try very, very hard to be as inclusive as possible. So it doesn't matter where you go to high school, as long as you meet the 4 criteria that we have established. First criterion is you have to live in Gloucester Township. Secondly, eventually you have to be accepted at an accredited college or university. Thirdly, you have to have a minimum score on either the SAT or the ACT, and you have to have at least a 2.5 GPA or be in the top 50% of your class. These may not seem like very, very high criteria or standards, but that's the idea. We want to try to involve as many students as possible in this scholarship program and not just restrict it to the students who are at the very, very top of the class, because many, many students who are not in the top 10% of the class are certainly going to go to college and be very successful. This year, we will be giving out 50 $1,000 scholarships. And we have a total of 350 students who have qualified and met the criteria that I just mentioned. Their names are all on that piece of paper. And what we did was we took the entire list and alphabetized it and then assigned a number to each one of the students. Now, it is possible, in fact, it is likely that there's a typo on this page somewhere. That's because I did the data entry, and I can tell you that I'm not very good at that. And what it means is that I may have spelled a name wrong, in which case it's possible that a particular student who's been given number 35, if I had spelled their name right, it should have been 34. But the number that is on this sheet is the number we're using tonight. So it's important to understand that and to not be concerned if I did misspell your name and as a result, you're in the wrong spot. What we have behind me is a raffle drum that has 350 ping pong balls in it. Each one has a number on it. And shortly, we're going to start pulling those 50 ping pong balls. And I should mention also that in addition to the 50 ping pong balls for winners, we're going to pull another 10. We call those the alternates. The reason we do that is that it's possible that one or more of the 50 students who get a scholarship may not actually be attending college. Their plans may have changed. We don't want to have to come back and do another drawing. So we will pull 10 alternates, and if one person out of the first 50 doesn't go to college, alternate number 1 will get that scholarship, and so on. If you are an alternate, but you don't end up getting a scholarship, we're going to give you $100 anyway to use for expenses. So it's important to listen to all 60 numbers that will be pulled. But before I start this with the actual pulling of the ping pong balls, I know you all know that today is a very special day. It started for all the students here with that wonderful opportunity to go back to school after being off for a week. So I'm sure you were all happy about that. Parents might have been happy too. In addition to that, we had the eclipse. And coming up after we do the scholarship drawing, we've got the finals of the men's basketball and maybe a Phillies game too. So we're going to get you out of here as quickly as we can. I know the basketball game doesn't come on until 9, so we'll be out of here way before that. This is our 39th year of giving scholarships. The very first year, we gave out 8 scholarships in the amount of $500 apiece. As I mentioned, this year we'll be giving out 50 for $1,000 each. And over the course of the entire 39 years, we will have given out over 1,500 scholarships for a total of $1,385,200. This is all because of people like you who come to events, spend money, and it comes to us so we can give it back to you. I know I already said that, but I wanted to repeat it again. Thank you. The other thing I want to mention before we start pulling the names is that it is perfectly okay if your name comes up to cheer. Okay, we're not in school. You can misbehave. So that's kind of where we are. I think that's everything that I wanted to mention before we start the drawing. Mr. Orlando, do you want to start? Sure. Okay, once we pull out a name or a number, I'll read the number. I also want to mention one other thing. I know I'm going to mess up some names when I start pronouncing. So this is my blanket apology. Okay, so if I mispronounce your name, I'm really sorry. Number 35, and that is Samantha Brilla from Timber Creek. Number 158, that's Morgan Carnock from Timber Creek. Number 3, that's Robert Aguirre from Triton. Number 54 is Michelle Chen from Triton. I don't hear any cheers yet. Number 74, and that is Aliana Davis from Timber Creek. Number 103, and that is Ethan Gallagher from Highland. Congratulations. I'm done. Now you're going to do 10. Number 262, that's over on the back. 262 is Nicole Reyes from Highland. Number 294, Terrell Smith from Timber Creek. Okay, very good. Some of you might want to move to that corner of the room. It seems to be a good corner. Number 271, and that is Madison Ryan from Timber Creek. Number 99, and that is Mara Finn from Triton. Okay, Mr. Mignon. Yeah, you have to be, he had 2, so you have to get at least 2. Number 208, and that is Tori McLean from Timber Creek. Number 66. 66 is Dylan Convery from Timber Creek. Number 181, and that is Leah Lewis from Highland. Number 274, it's Kairos Samalonis from Triton. Kira, probably. Number 313 is Cheyenne Tong from Timber Creek. Number 199, and that is Connor Marvell from Highland. Number 216 is Genelisa Molino from Highland. Number 14 is Shadera Anianwu from Timber Creek. Number 123, it's Michael Harlow from Highland. Number 185, and that is Jill Lofton from Timber Creek. Number 155 is Kostanka Kalanksi from Triton. Thank you. You want to come up here? I have the problem too. Number 318, and that is Michaela Tucker from Timber Creek. $323, Giomar Valdez Herrera from Triton. No, did I read? Yeah, that's right. I got to use a larger font. Number 92. 92 is Mark Eaton from Timber Creek. Number 280, and that is Jaden Savage from Highland. Number 178. Okay. It's Joanna Lee from Highland. That is the right corner of the room. There's no doubt about it. You are. Number 134. That's Carly Huber from Highland. Number 225. And that is Juan Munoz from Triton. Number 29, and that is Janelle Bonas from Timber Creek. Number 254. 254 is Cole Pridgeon from Highland. In case you were wondering, we have several people up here writing down the numbers, and we're keeping track of the ping pong balls over here. So hopefully we won't make a mistake. Number 165 is Caitlin Kirkwood from Triton. Number 306 is Amanda Sweeney from Highland. Number 7, Oluwatobi Akande from Timber Creek. Number 87, Dylan DeRosa from Triton. Number 132 is Sarah Roth Horn from Timber Creek. Number 90 is Victoria Durazo from Highland. Number 234, which I can't find, 234. Divine Anucci from Camden County Technical School. Number 1, Niaz Abdin from Highland. Number 215. 215 is Jacob Molchanov from Triton. And number 186 is Tasnim Lokman from Highland. Okay, that was number 40. So we have 10 more winners and then 10 alternates after that. Number 311, it's Nina Taraborelli from Timber Creek. Number 304, Lauren Straub from Popole VI. Number 345 is Julius Wilson from Timber Creek. Number 51 is Venzrian Calais from Triton. I really am sorry that I'm not getting these right. Number 138, and 138 is Lilana's Irizarry from Timber Creek. Number 79, that's Darren Delva from Timber Creek. Number 329, it's Bella Victoria from Triton. Number 36, and that's Imani Brown from Highland.
Two more for her.
How many more?
2 more for her and then the alternate.
Number 245. And 245 is Dominic Perez from Highland. Number 160, and that is Sakina Kazmi from Highland. Those are the 50 guaranteed $1,000 scholarships. Now we're going to pull the 10 alternates.
All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Attitude is very important. Okay. No, the first alternate is number 130, Alicia Hill from Triton. Number 78, and that is Gianna Del Campo from Gloucester County Institute of Technology. Number 111 is Kristen Gladden from Highland. Number 228 is Ryan Nasuti from Timber Creek. Number 327 is Isabella Villobi from Highland. The last spin. Number 104, which is Kevin Gallagher from Highland. Number 277 is Kameen Sarif from Highland. Number 31 is Jaden Boyce from Triton. 176 is Riley Ann Leary from Timber Creek. And last but not least, number 297, and that is Shady Snyder Minter from Timber Creek. As far as the winners are concerned, we will be notifying all the winners by good old-fashioned snail mail. You'll get a letter in the mail from us asking you to let us know where you're going to college and a couple of other things. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sorry that we don't have more money to give more scholarships, but this is where we are right now. Hopefully, if we get a good year of fundraising, we can increase that even more. So I want to thank you all for being here. I also want to thank the council for allowing us to do this and take up their valuable time. It's a very good working relationship that we have with the council and with the school districts to make this thing very successful. We hope to see some of you running on Saturday and a lot of you on Gloucester Township Day on June 1st. Thank you very much.
We'll take a 10-minute recess. Thank you, Dr. Hodgson and the Scholarship Committee. Appreciate it.
Bill, grab that cage from here. Yeah, I know. A whole bunch of my friends. Yeah, for sure. I was texting them, I was like, go.
Am I doing this work? I was the other day. My sister-in-law and her son went
What do you
Thanks for all you're doing. Hey, how are you, Louise? All right. Great job, man.
All right, we're going to meet here.
That's like that's
I can't discuss. After that is, we just got it from the prosecutor. Yeah, that's normal. The holiday week and all that. I just texted Sandy. And then Gianna. Yeah, she lives right on. She got an altar. You go work for that? I texted Sandy. This is hard to save money, sure. I bought that house. Yeah, we were, so I go to Grace and Don, we were older, they were using the property, so we were always, yeah, good. You know, there's. Let her go, we're close. When she goes away, They were down. How you doing? How's that really? I know Greg. No, I know. I know. So who has a job? That's you. You don't pick up one. That's all.
This room. Oh, you me too. It's a big trigger, especially.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, can I have the roll call again, please?
Mr. Pena.
Here.
Mrs. Aubrey Troxel. Mrs. Grace Love.
Here.
Mr. Nash.
Here.
Mrs. Walters. Mrs. Winters. Here. Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Martin here. Mr. Cardis.
Here.
Chief Harkins.
Here.
Mr. McGill.
May I have a motion to waive the reading, accept the minutes of the regular session of March 11th, 2024, and March 25th, 2024?
Make that motion.
Thank you. Second, on the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Chief's memo, read by the township clerk.
On behalf of Chief David Harkins, it is requested that the following individuals be appointed as Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officers: Stephen Bonenfante, Michael Crowley, Nicholas Zinali, Marissa Demary, Owen Davenport, Ryan Dobleman, Riker Farmer, Brendan Quigga, Wyatt Kurtz, David Salmon, Christian Warren, and Sebastian Zapata.
Thank you. Next is our public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone addressing council may speak one time. Once all those wishing to address council have had their turns, they may address council a second time, only if it adds to what was said earlier, not repeating earlier statements. There's 15 minutes allotted for this first public portion, and each speaker is entitled to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to speak on agenda items only during this public portion? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Ordinance, second reading, there will be a public hearing on it. Ordinance 0-24-08, ordinance amending ordinance number 089-14, known as the Construction Code Enforcing Agency of the Township of Gloucester and known as Chapter 20 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, State of New Jersey. This establishes construction code fees and amending them. We're now open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone like to speak on this? Yes, sir.
I would just like to know, if, the building, that they're gonna build on the golf course.
So this is, you can speak on the second public portion. This is about construction fees. So there's a second public portion, sir.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. There's a second public portion. You'll be the first one to speak. I'll call on you on the second public portion, okay? Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this ordinance on construction fees? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
So, thank you. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next is ordinance -24-09, ordinance amending chapter 51 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester entitled Fees of the Code Book of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey. This established the municipal fees for the pool through the recreational center. And also, yes, that's what it'll establish. This is subject to a public hearing. Anyone like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next is the consent agenda. Any council member would like to have any item removed, please speak up.
Council President, I'd like to remove resolution 24-04-133.
Is there anything else? Can I have a motion to amend the consent agenda, removing resolution 2404-133? This is a motion to amend.
I'll move the motion to amend. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes, now I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion. Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next is our GTE Gov Access emails. We received one email from Norman Fuhrer, 36 Cold Road, Gloucester Township. I would like to know what is being done to stop the flooding on Hyder Lane. This has been going on for months. Every time there's a heavy rain, and the only thing done is closing the road till it subsides. This is a large inconvenience to everyone, let alone the amount of time an emergency vehicle would take to make the detour. The senior citizen building cannot be accessed at this time either. My concern is that eventually the road will deteriorate and wash out from underneath due to the erosion. Thank you for addressing this problem. So I'm going to have Chief speak about it also, and also Mr. McGill, our engineer.
So we worked together. We found the issue was over by Valley Brook. It's actually 2 lakes over. We were examining. I know we spoke with Mr. McGill. We had engineers come from Remington Burnick to try to look at the issue. We were concerned from the public safety issue. Emergency vehicles could always have passed through. We knew that, but we didn't think it was safe for the public. But we were able to work. That problem has remediated. There was a damming effect that was taking place 2 lakes over near the Valley Brook Golf Course, and that obstruction is gone, and the water levels dropped by a few feet, which had an effect that that water level dropped. The lake that's right near our senior center dropped, and therefore the water level dropped going across towards the Sleater property, which is what was across Hyder Lane. We did have a second issue because it was flowing. During our last rainstorm, we didn't have the major flooding that we had, but our public works crews went out there and spent several hours clearing an obstruction. There's a tube that runs under the waterway, a culvert, that got blocked because of the free flowing of water and debris. They were able to clear it. Once they did that, all the flooding subsided in the middle of the last rainstorm, and it's low, it's back to its normal levels. We believe that the problem has been resolved. Is that anything?
Correction, yeah, and DPW is going to continue to monitor it. They're going to go out there next week, they're going to stabilize some of the minor erosion that was around the culvert. They're going to remove the concrete sidewalk on the west side. So we can just look underneath that as well, make sure there's nothing compromised, to repair that, and then, like Chief said, the blockage downstream should alleviate any additional problems in the future.
Thank you very much, Chief and Mr. McGill. Now we go to our second public portion. This is for any item the public chooses to address to the Township Council. Anyone addressing council may speak one time. Once all those wishing to address council have had their turns, they may address council a second time, only if it adds to what was said earlier, not repeating earlier statements. There are 30 minutes for this public portion. Each speaker is entitled to 5 minutes. Gentlemen first, and then Ms. Danny, you're second, and Mr. Polidori, you're third.
Hello, my name is Rich
Hold
Davis.
on.
Hi, my name is Rich Davis.
Can you have your address, please?
28 Dickinson Drive, Sticklerville. My concern is I've been living there over 30 years, and I live right, the golf course is right in the back. So there's been trees there. I believe it is open space, actually, green acres or whatever. And I just want to be assured that our concerns will be heard about keeping the trees there as a nice boundary. They've been there forever. And beyond that, that there won't be any like building of like noisy things, whether it be basketball courts for the what they're building there, or tennis courts where it'll disturb, because you understand, because we're right, Dickinson Drive on that side, there's a group of trees there that separate us from the golf course. They've been there forever, and I just want to know that our concerns will be heard about keeping that boundary and having respect for the noise level that, as far as putting anything there.
Mr. Davis, have you been to the planning board meeting for this application?
I haven't.
Okay. Do we have any information on the outcome of that?
No.
Okay. During a planning board session, when an application is being heard, that's when it provides an opportunity for the public to express the concern that you have had. I can find some additional information for you, Mr. Davis, and then if you can come up here and provide your email or phone number to the clerk, we can provide that information to you.
Afterwards?
Oh, you can come up here right now.
Okay, thank you.
She's right here. Miss Danny.
Council. I haven't been here for a while because my mother's been ill, but I've been watching your meetings and totally disgraceful situations have occurred. And I have some questions to ask, and I'd like to have Mr. Carlemere and Mr. Cardis take out a piece of paper and pen, because I'm going to ask the questions and I'd like to have the answers back at the 4th week of this month when we have the next meeting on a Monday night. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I don't want the answers tonight. I'm going to take the 5 minutes to ask you the questions, okay? And I'd like to have the answers back. I've lived in this town for 10 years. I had a business in this town for almost 20 years. So nothing has changed, and I've been researching a lot of things. I'm not going to start with the MUA because there's a lot of things with the MUA, but I am going to support the people that work here in this township. And I really don't know how you're going to answer or put into that ballot. It's got to become a very, very curious question to people that they may not understand and answer yes or no and not know what the answer really is and vote the wrong way. I'm not going to leave that one alone. Secondly, I would like to know how many medical dispensaries you opened in Gloucester Township when it was legal to open the medical dispensaries. Now I want to know how many licenses you switched over to make them recreational dispensaries. I would like to know the gym that just opened up right over here. Did you know that he was imprisoned for almost 30 years in federal prison for selling drugs and cocaine and drugs and heroin? And he also is the owner of the medical marijuana place, Honeygrove. Not the woman. Can you stop the clock? Because I want to ask questions.
Hold on, I run the meeting, Ms. Dan.
Okay.
Let her go on for 5 minutes. She does not want any questions.
I don't want any, yes, I'm just asking questions. He also owns Honeygrove, and he's sold out the last part of the grass that goes all the way up to the apartments to Honeygrove, which is within 100 feet of Millbridge Apartments. I also want to know why the township and the chief of police doesn't either charge Black Diamond Lounge for a health issue because they smoke hookah or marijuana or whatever in hookah bowls, 2 to 3 people in a bowl when we have airborne TB, COVID, all kinds of air diseases and spit and everything. And they're all spitting out of the hookah bowl and they're sharing it with 3 people. Don't look at me and shake your head because I was a health and exercise science professor for 50 years. And that you were shaking your head. Okay, well, I'm explaining to you that that's a health issue. So I'm going to call the Board of Health when I get up tomorrow morning.
Mr. Cardis, please let her continue.
I'm going to continue. I'm not young. I'm 70 years of age, and I'm going to call the Board of Health tomorrow. Secondly, I also want to know the protection for the schools. We never hear about anything until it's about a week later when parents are fighting and kids are fighting. How come you have out there a metal detector, but we can't put them in the high schools? They carry the school bags around and they carry knives and things in those school bags. I mentioned to the safety director there and he said, oh, we don't need that. But we have so many fights. We have so many kids that are getting hurt in the school districts. I was a school teacher in Stratford school system for many years and then went to teach college. Now with all the things that are going on in these school districts, why don't you spend the money there? Also, I'd like to know from the medical dispensaries or the recreational dispensaries, we're getting a lot of money. Now, the last minute that I have, I want to also know GEMS landfill. Do you know that that GEMS landfill that you put the solar panels on a mountain is illegal? And I have all the information, and I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but I need to have information about it. In the 1970s, it was the most toxic landfill, the 5th one in the nation. Do you know that aqua water runs under there? Well water that this township drinks. So when the next meeting, I would like answers on all those things I just stated, and there's more to come. So I will bring it the next meeting, and I expect Mr. Carlemere, Mr. Cardis to give me answers on everything I asked today.
Thank you. Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening, once again, Council Ray Polidoro from the Historic Village of Ariel.
Good evening.
Most of my comments are going to be regarding the MUA and your decision to do what you've done, and why I think it's an excellent idea for you to pause the bid and selling our former MUA. One of the things you had mentioned, besides the conversations that we all have had with you, when you said you were not going to sell it, and if you did, what was going to be the case, but you pretty much assured the people that you were not going to do that. I wouldn't call it a lie, but I think another word for that is disingenuous. And I surely think that that was the case. You took half of their $6 million, what you called a surplus, what they had was an emergency fund. When you now intend on selling them, you mentioned you're going to pay off debt. Now that's a great sound piece, but you accumulated that debt because of how you ran budgets and how you spent. In the meantime, the MUA ran such an efficient budget. They kept our bill at $45 every quarter. They plunged, they cleaned, they did all the things that they did. We never got a bill for that. And now you want to sell them, take that money. They ran a good budget. You found it, and I remember the word specifically, ridiculous, that they had a $6 million, you called surplus, it was their emergency fund. And you were most gracious to go and spend half of that already. Now you want to sell them, and you want to pay off the debt you've accumulated. When they budgeted well, you made them pay by dissolving them. And now you want to take the money from selling them, and you want to pay off the debt that you accumulated. Without regard for the people that work there, the families, the neighborhoods, and every person that put their blood, sweat, and tears into taking care of us. And you're going to take their money, and you are going to pay your debt with that. Not only have they done a good job, you guys have disrespected them. You disrespected us by saying, well, let's put it out to bid. Now, we all know that there's two main companies out there that are just dying to buy them up, Aqua and New Jersey American Water. We have been watching what's going on in Pennsylvania. And if you haven't seen it, I'll just give you some numbers, 150% increase in Pennsylvania, 145%. And these people are over social media screaming what's been done to them. And they're using language that's just extremely unattractive, but you feel their pain. That's going to come here. We know it. That's why I'm saying, pause this. You've already made them disappear. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, but you can stop the sale. Why would you go from a public entity that's taking care of us to private, and you'll have no control? No control. We will be the recipients of what they do to us. That being said, you also told us that the mayor has nothing to do with this. Don't insult us. The mayor could not possibly sit there quiet and not have anything to do. Oh, maybe everything's already done. Maybe the deal's done, the conversation's been had, the hands have been shaken, and the plan is in action. But that was an insult to have us think that he has nothing to do. Maybe it was accurate. He has nothing to do with it now. But it's very hard to believe that you want to tell us that, and we accept that. I'm sure you heard the laughter when you stated that. So right now, and I don't think every council member here knows exactly what you're doing to us and what's going to happen to our bill and what's going to happen to our sewage or charging per gallon, again, as the water comes in with sewage. We already pay 3 bills to flush our toilet. 3. 1 coming in and 2 going out. And 1's going to go up. We do enjoy, like, listen, the water level is what, 1.3 liters now? And we flush as little as possible? No, we want to flush all the time. Don't make that hard on us. And let's keep the MUA people working here in our township and doing what they do. My last question, the former golf course, Freeway Golf Course, we're going to be putting some money out to do some pipe work. Do I understand that correctly? In the resolution 126?
There's an application,
Okay, who owns that right now? Who owns that property?
AP Construction.
Why are we spending public money on a privately owned piece of property? Explain that, please.
There is an application, anytime there's any type of developer, there's an application that's filed through the sewer authority.
Okay.
and through the sewer. So this is something that's commonplace with
Okay.
any development that takes place.
Who bears that expense when this is done?
The developer.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Have a great night and thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Coyne.
Denise Coyne, Choose Landing. This freeway golf course Form A application, at what point does the applicant have to be in order for you to consider this Form A? Do they have to have zoning approved? Like, at what point does this occur in the application process?
Mr. Carver, that's something you can answer for us.
I couldn't give an answer right now, I'm not sure if I understand your question.
Could you speak in the microphone, please?
What are you referring to on the agenda?
I'm referring to 126, the Form A application for the former freeway golf course. Specifically, I want to know that property, I believe, is not zoned for anything other than R1 zoning, and they want to put townhomes and high-density housing on it. So I'm wondering how they can put a Form A application in front of council unless the zoning's been approved to do that.
Well, the resolution reads, Township Council, Township of Gloucester hereby approves a Form A application submitted for the construction of a new wastewater pump station for Spain to connect 229 single-family residential units.
Ms. Danny, could you please refrain from making comments when I ask you to leave? Okay, thank you.
229 single-family units and 567 townhouse units located at 1858 Sicklerville Road. That project subject to terms and conditions set forth in the brick letter. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but that's just confirming their application for that wastewater pump station that they're wanting to put in, and that's the question we talked about before as far as compensation, how that's paid for. That's put in our fees.
None of that answered my question. My question is, can the council look to approve this application if the zoning has not been approved to build what they're requesting?
So they
Why
have
would
that
we?
application in, and as their application goes forward, whatever approvals, that's how it works into this approval.
Again, does the zoning have to be approved before council considers this Form A application?
No.
No. So are you aware whether or not the zoning is still the original zoning R1 or if it has been changed?
I can't answer. Research it for you, but I can't answer.
Okay, I would like you to research that for me, please. And I also would like to know, according to the township's master plan, I believe many years ago, it said that the township was close to being built out. I believe that was in 1999. And here we are, many years later, and we're still building thousands and thousands of new houses. And I'd like to know how that fits into the master plan. Because as far as I understand, according to the performance reports that just came out, the new performance reports for the school, we're close to capacity in students. And we're looking at potentially 3,171 new housing units, not counting Lakeland. Lakeland is another 1,600 new housing units. And I'd like to know where you guys think these kids are going to go to school.
According to our numbers in the school, we're actually down from 10, 12 years ago.
The performance report said that there's almost 6,500, I believe, could be more, but I recall 6,500 kids in school, and the capacity is 7,100. So that doesn't bode too well for 3,171 new housing units, not counting Lakeland. I think that exceeds a capacity, if my math is correct.
We currently have
6,789 students.
Okay, so we're close 400 away from capacity. And we want to build 3,171 new housing units. How does that calculate? And if we were close to build out in 1999, and we're still building and building and building, and you guys, you know, think it's okay to build another 3,000 housing units, I mean, I don't understand how any of that makes sense.
And in the year 2000, we had over 1,000 buildable lots that were available.
And we were close to build out, according to the master plan. Read the master plan, that's what it says.
I understand.
Okay.
We had 1,000 buildable lots, buildable acres that we could use. So what happens sometimes is zoning changes things, but it was 1,000. buildable
Zoning
acres.
changes because the township changes it.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
My time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Anyone else who hasn't spoken that would like to speak? Yes, sir.
Chuck Blair, 2 Bull Run. I just have a question on the MUA with the sale of this. I believe that the recycle and everything is part of the MUA, and the leaf and the grass pickup, is that also going to be sold?
Mr. Carter?
No,
Where's it going?
it was separated, it's a separate department. The town is Park and Rec Plan B. They're entitled to, under that, organization, government organization, they get 9 departments. We had 7 departments. We created a Department of Global Services, that is similar to the Department of Public Works. And then separately, there's a Department of Sewer Utility.
Sewer utility, okay, and then if the plan, which probably already sold, but it goes through, when they used to come out and clean our sewers and everything, is that still going to be done by the township in Public Works, or does that go to the buyer of the MUA?
Good,
Yes, good.
it can be, yes, it can be done by Public Works. And that's something we have talked
Is it
about.
going to be, or is it
I
not?
believe it will be.
It will be.
If that's the case, and it does, again, it has to go to the voters by referendum. You and the rest of the voters in this.
Well, I mean, is that going to be,
Will make that decision.
is that going to be on the ballot? Is it going to spell that out?
No, will not state that.
Is it just going to state sell it or don't sell
I believe the way it states, it will state the price that was offered by the highest responsible bidder.
it? Okay.
And that will be basically what you'll be voting. And you did hear earlier about debt service. Under the state of New Jersey, if you go to referendum, you must use any of the proceeds from the sale to retire the debt of the sewer utility, or if it was water, you would use that for water.
Well, they don't have a debt.
And the township itself,
Okay, and the township.
yes,
All right, but because MUA didn't have a debt,
and the township.
and the township, okay. So, the other thing with the recycle, you got the one-armed bandit, the truck. I call it the one-armed bandit. Now, I know my sister lives in Monroe Township and Washington Township. You got one guy drives around, picks up that can. Boom, 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 boom. We have a driver and I guess he's an assistant. I thought he was a trainee, but then I stopped and asked, and he's the overflow guy. Now, I remember when the cans first came out, and the mayor in the little brochure said, if you need a can, an extra can, call the township. But if it's not in the can, it won't be picked up. So why do we have an overflow guy riding around with the one-armed bandit?
Always had an overflow.
Never.
Yes, we did. We have a trailer that comes through.
Well, let me rephrase that. Sometimes because the other truck, they couldn't reach the hopper, so they had an old-fashioned trash truck with 3 guys riding around following that one-armed bandit.
And we do that. We have a trailer truck that goes through after the one-armed bandit, as you referred to it, goes through. There's another vehicle that goes through to pick up all the other stuff, because you're right, there's cardboard a lot of times that's
Right.
sitting next to
Well-
the pink top container, and in which case that's then picked up on that same day.
So the overflow, I mean, I'm just saying the cost. Why can't the driver in my street here, there's only 17 homes. I mean, today, 3 of the houses had overflow. So you got the overflow guy driving around and he gets out 3 times. Why can't the driver just get out, put it in the can after he dumps it, and then dump it again? You know, I'm just saying, try to save some money. You know, it's a thought. Or give the people an extra can.
I hear you. Right now, Glenn Engelbert, Mr. Engelbert runs that department. And, you know, I do respect his opinion. He's been doing this since the early 90s, 1991, I believe he started doing this. And I believe that he's doing it the best he can.
So the option of giving people an extra can or?
Oh, you can get an extra can, yes.
So
it's $10.
$10.
And that would stop the overflow?
It would help.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying in the other townships where my sister, you know, they pay a little more taxes than we do, but you get 1 can. If it ain't in a can, you don't, they don't pick it up.
You can't get any additional.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. Does anyone else would like to speak that is not approved? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. Brian Burns from Sawwood. Ariel,
Brian.
how are you guys? I followed up with the Green Acres situation with the Murray and the Hazes, one-on-one with the homeowners. I've been informed that the documents are now at the county level, which is a great thing to hear, especially in lieu of Ms. Coyne's description of 3,000 new homes being built. The golf course is going to get developed. So at least a piece of the most valuable natural resource in the township is being preserved. And I want to say thank you for your support on that. I went out to Blueberry Hill again, so crowded. I mean, so many people are going to enjoy it. Remember the old, what was the baseball movie? You build it, they will come?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams? So it's, I don't know how many of you guys are outdoor people, but I'm telling you, there's a lot more outdoor people in the community than probably people who play pickleball. And this is going to be a tremendous asset. And it's, I'm thrilled to death that it's going forward. So in spite of, looks like we're going to lose the golf course, at least it's not warehouses, which I did not support. Is there anything else you can tell me other than the fact that the application is now at the county level? Anybody tell me any more than that?
So you're talking about 3 acres?
Yes.
Murray Hill.
Yeah, so the only thing we're waiting for, I don't know if it's at the county level. Internally, the only thing we're waiting for is the final appraisal approval. Everything's in line, title works in line, contracts are in line. We're just waiting for the actual consent to the funding after they review recent appraisals that we set up. That's the only thing we're waiting.
And I believe this is the same as the Rosalind Bridge because of its proximity to GEMS, 75% Green Acres, 25% Office of Natural Resource Restoration. So nothing comes out of the taxpayers' money in order to preserve this piece of ground. It's a win-win for everybody.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So anyone else who has not spoken that would like to speak? Ms. Coyne? Ms. Coyne will be our last speaker of the evening.
I had my hand up before this week.
The 30 minutes have gone up.
Yeah, but I had.
Did you have, Miss, I could see who had their hand. Miss
I had my
Danny.
hand up before this week.
Miss Danny. Miss
Oh my
Coyne.
gosh.
Denise Coyne, Shoes Lady. I have a question about the acquisition of or possible selling of the MUA as it relates to Jim's landfill. I understand that there's a Jim's trustee, I believe it's Kevin Bucciaroni, and that there was an order where the runoff, the storm drain or runoff water from the Jim's landfill supposedly is contaminated with uranium, and the water has to be pumped through the Gloucester Township MUA to Camden County for treatment. And I believe the township received $400,000 in order to facilitate this decree, I guess it came from the state or wherever, but now there's a gyms trustee that's supposed to manage overseeing this cleanup of this contaminated water. How does that play into selling our sewer system? Will there still be a gyms trustee? What happens with this water, this contaminated water, if we sell our sewer?
Ms. Coyne, there's no longer a GEMS trustee, and they no longer meet. That has been folded for at least pre-pandemic.
It was taken over by the state.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna talk.
Who in the state?
Ms. Danny, could you please not shout out?
State DEP, I don't know specifically whom, but it is part, is DEP that took over.
Okay, what exactly did they take over? Are they,
The operation, I don't know much about running a landfill.
so are we still taking the water, the contaminated uranium water and pumping it through the Gloucester Township MUA to the Cannon County MUA? Is that still happening?
Yes.
I do not believe so, but
Mr. Carmen?
No, I think that ceased many years ago, when they made the determination that it was clear. And that's, when the state started taking over, the operations up in the land. That's my report.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, I couldn't really hear you. You said when it was clear? You mean there's no more uranium water?
Well, my understanding, perhaps I'll give you my recollection, everything was held in the state's hands. The trust expired many years ago, and then the state took over, and all the action that takes place, or anything that's permitted to go up on that landfill, including the solar panels. The state made decisions on all of those, whether anything could go there or not go there. The state been, and you can, DEP's been in control of, what happens on the landfill. Once the caps were secure and all that.
Chief, can you chime in?
I don't know what exactly it does, but several years ago, there was a treatment plant that was built on site at the GEMS landfill. There is I can't say for sure how many years, but there is a treatment, it was explained to me, a treatment site that was, and it's manned by these DEP employees or contractors and such that come and go. I just know that because we have a range facility nearby. And just, I can't say what it's filtering or what it's treating, but there is a facility that's matches the timetable when the trustee was changed, as it was explained to me.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, you're saying that you don't know if the water, the contaminated uranium water, is still being pumped through Gloucester Township MUA to Cannon County. Is that what you're telling me?
We'll get information on you for that, but there is no trust anymore as you started your comments. Mr. Bucciaroni is not in that role anymore. But we'll find additional information for you, get back to you.
When?
Next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll close our second public portion.
I had the information.
Polling of directors.
Mr. Crozier?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Carvis?
nothing to report.
Chief Harkins?
So just to make some clarifications for council's sake, I'm sure you're aware, all licensing of cannabis facilities are handled by the New Jersey Cannabis Regulation Commission. We do not directly and have no input on the approval of the licensing, the direct licensing of both medical or recreational marijuana. So I just wanted to make that clarification. The chief of police does not issue citations for health violations. That is not in my purview of enforcement, but however, we will certainly make any reference to the health department, who is tasked in the county health department with enforcement of any health code violations. Regarding metal detectors at the high schools, this is not, council has no input, nor does the township have any input on how the Black Horse Pike Regional School District runs security measures. We have very robust and regular meetings about security, and that is the purview to bring those concerns would be the Black Horse Pike Regional School District. And I just want to make that clarification for some that may not be aware of that. No council knows this, but that's certainly within our purview. Discussions of security are always kept very private because we don't give up all of our security measures that are in place. But it's not a panacea to just say, have metal detectors at every door. It's part, there's a time and a place for everything. So with that, have a good night.
Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell?
Nothing happens.
Mr. Munoz?
It's a great time of the year when all the local little leagues and baseball organizations are kicking off their season. So I just want to say best of luck to everybody. And, thank you. Have a great day.
Mrs. Aubrey Troxel.
I was honored to be at the bowl opening this past Saturday morning, and it was the donations that people had made meant to the Field of Dreams, which was wonderful. And we had one of the Field of Dreams. Anthony sang the national anthem, did a wonderful job, and he was very proud that he could be honored to do that. And that was just something that really touched my heart. It was wonderful. Mr. Burns, too, you touch my heart because you really care about this township and you see the beauty in it and you want to keep the beauty, and I honor you for that. And I appreciate that. And I want to thank all the scholarship recipients. Use the money wisely, get a great education, and don't ever stop learning. And thank you, President.
Mrs. Grace Love.
Just want to thank all of the scholarship committee members who helped get the money and raise the money for, to help our children in our township. And congratulations to all the winners as well. Thank you for that you do for the committee and all the committee members. Everyone have a great night and stay safe.
Mr. Nash.
Thanks for coming out. Have a good night, guys.
Mrs. Walters.
Thanks for everybody for coming out. Congratulations to all the applicants.
Mrs. Winters.
I just want to thank the chief and the police for everything that they do. Thank you to the scholarship committee members for all the work that they put in throughout the year for these scholarships to be available. Congratulations to the people who did win the scholarships. And I did attend with Helen on Saturday morning in Blackwood Commons, and it was a great event. And Anthony is always fun to watch and entertaining and energetic, I guess would be a good word for me. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Be safe.
Mr. McConnell.
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank you to the Gloucester Township Scholarship Committee. $50,000 in addition to an extra $1,000 to those other recipients. That is supported by Gloucester Township Day, the food truck and beer festival, by the 5K race that's taking place this Saturday. If you're interested in running, you can still sign up. But that is a committee of volunteers that come and support our township and our students. So I do appreciate that. On April 20th, Field of Dreams starts their 5th or 6th year.
Technically seventh year.
7th year, okay. Opening day is 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock, I'm sorry, I'm off. Okay, 10 o'clock, April 20th at the Valley Brook Fields. Thank you, Mr. McGill, once again for heading up that organization. Appreciate it. With that, entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor? Have a great evening, everyone. Everybody.